Let's now turn to the dark art of computer hacking, which may strike fear into the hearts of technology users, but there are some very clever people using these techniques for good, not evil.
That's correct. Nick Whyte, a student at the University of New South Wales, is one such person, having recently taken out one of the top prizes in Australia's toughest cyber security competition. He joins us now in studio along with his lecturer, Associate Professor Richard Buckland. Good morning to you both.
Hi.
In good company here, I understand the University of New South Wales, Richard, has been performing very well in the last 3 years, taking up the top 3 positions in this competition. Just what is it about the University of New South Wales? How is it that you're so good?
Certainly it's not me, it's the students. So we have fantastic students, and we have a philosophy of teaching attack and learning attack as well as learning defence. And then we get industry experts and real hackers really to come in and teach the students rather than old fogies like me.
Yeah, Nick, I was going to say, dare I say, do you have to think like a criminal to actually succeed in what you do?
No, it's not about thinking like a criminal. It's definitely not like that. It's about thinking out of the box and coming at the challenges from a different perspective. So you've got to look sort of a way that people who normally would look at code and problems like this wouldn't look at it, and they haven't designed them like that. So that's the point. You get around what they've put in place to block you.
Okay, knowing the box but thinking out of the box.
Correct.
Ooh, so how long has it been an objective of yours to become a supercomputer hacker?
I've never wanted to be a hacker. It's not one of my goals generally. It's more about using the skills for when I program. So regardless of whether you want to go into cybersecurity or you want to be a programmer, it's really good to have these skills so you can know how to write your code and make sure you're writing programs that a hacker can't get into.
Richard, there is such a desperate need for, well, hackers, for want of a better term, but certainly cyber security experts. In fact, I was reading perhaps there's a shortage of 1 million.
Yeah, in 2014.
Across the globe.
That's right. Estimated to grow to 6 million by 2019.
So how are you going to fill that breach then, if you like? Obviously, you guys are doing your part, but to have the necessary skills to keep one step ahead of those who are doing the damage.
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's the key question, in fact. So it's a worldwide problem. The US and more developed countries are currently filling the gap by pinching people from overseas, taking good students from Australia, in fact. But obviously they're the only people that can do that, and Australia has a shortage. So it's by training, and it's really by changing how our students think about programming. Rather than thinking defensively, we need to train more attackers. And probably the biggest problem we've got is having teachers who know how to teach.
It's interesting to use the term attackers rather than those seeking defence, if you like. You're saying it's not so much about defence, it's going on the front foot.
It is about defence. Ultimately, it's all about defence, but the way you learn how to defend is to know how an attacker thinks. If you just think like a defender, you fool yourself. You never see your own weaknesses, you just see your own strengths.
And clearly with the world that we're moving into, we are currently in, I'm slowly catching up, maybe not quite, we're doing more and more online, aren't we? Our lives are pretty much centred around what happens online, all our transactions, personal information. So this is going to only obviously become an even bigger issue and a future where you will be kept very busy, I imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot of demand for hackers in the industry. I'm sure like all the winners and even some of the runner-up teams have been approached by recruiters. So it's certainly something that's coming to the top.
Even this past week, we've had examples of hacking. There was that app for banks, which obviously alarmed a lot of customers that was jeopardised. That's just one example. How do you look at those sort of situations and think, okay, how would we prevent that from happening again?
Yeah. Look, the banks responded really well to that, we should say. That's exactly what we do. We look at examples of failures, probably like tacticians and military historians look at examples of battles that haven't worked, and we think, what can we do next?
But for instance, do you get some malware or whatever, and you pull it apart,
oh, literally,
see how it's constructed, and then say, okay, that's how they manage their attack. How can we prevent that from happening again?
Yes, that's absolutely right. It's not a theoretical exercise like learning the piano. You can really only do it by playing the piano.
Yep.
So we analyse code, we reverse malware, we look at actual runs of actual attacks and replay them and analyse them. And we play war games all the time where we constantly compete amongst each other. And that's what the Nick was in and did so well in was about. It was really a war game of teams trying to attack targets.
Does that also mean perhaps participating in forums where some of these hackers may participate?
The really good hackers are now not in the wild. They're employed by agencies or by the military or by large criminal organisations, and they don't talk in the forums. In the forums, you just get the chit-chat.
Well, they're probably more on the dark web, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. So we have to be aware of what they're doing, but they sort of already know that stuff. Really, the problem isn't learning what they do. Really, the problem is just disseminating it fast enough to new students and to academics and to teachers and to organisations. So the knowledge is already there. We just don't yet have the human capability to respond. And we, at the Uni of New South Wales, we're trying really hard to fill that gap. We've partnered with the CBA. We run free courses that anyone can do that will train anyone in cybersecurity.
Well, you're certainly doing a very good job so far, according to the particular challenge that you faced. Very congratulations, very well done, and all the best in the future as well.
Thanks so
Thank you, Richard and Nick.
It is a